American fishermen have a life attached to the vast ocean, where they work day and night on modern boats to catch hundreds of flathead flounder every day. Flathead flounder, a highly valuable fish, is found in the cold and deep waters off the coast of Alaska. Using traditional fishing techniques using long lines pulled by hand, fishermen patiently wait for each fish to attach to the hook, a process that is arduous but also brings worthy results. Each trip to sea lasts for hours, even days, in the harsh weather of the ocean, where fierce waves constantly crash against the hull, testing the endurance of both humans and machines. Fishermen must carefully prepare everything from bait, hooks to hundreds of meters of long coils, dropped to the seabed and pulled by hand. This job requires stamina, patience and experience to know when a fish is hooked, when to pull the line, and when to leave it alone to avoid losing the precious prey. Flatheads can weigh from a few kilograms to tens of kilograms. When pulled out of the water, they still struggle strongly, forcing the fisherman to quickly remove them from the hook and throw them into the container on the boat. Each pull is a challenge, because the big fish often resist strongly, sometimes pulling the fisherman precariously over the edge of the boat. While some people pull the fish, others take the opportunity to prepare new fishing lines, hook fresh bait on the hook to drop into the sea, ensuring that the fishing process is not interrupted. They have to work non-stop for many hours, from early morning to late at night, with only short breaks to eat and regain strength before continuing the hard work. Not only do fishermen face physical difficulties, they also have to deal with harsh weather and storms that can strike at any time, causing their boats to rock and endangering their lives, but with a resilient spirit and love for their job. They continue to go to sea, because fishing is not only a job, but also a source of pride and tradition for their families for many generations. When the boat is full of fish, they quickly sort and store them in ice boxes to keep them fresh before docking at port. The flatfish will then be sold to processing plants or exported to international markets, providing a stable source of income for thousands of families who depend on fishing. Although the work is hard, they are always optimistic, considering the ocean their home. Considering each trip to sea a new journey with hope and expectation of a bumper fishing season. On offshore fishing boats, the working atmosphere is always bustling and urgent. Veteran fishermen with many years of experience are not only proficient in pulling the line, but also know how to observe the sea, predicting the time and location of the most fish. They learn from small signs such as currents, water temperature, or the appearance of seabirds circling the water surface. Sometimes, they rely on the experiences passed down from previous generations to make decisions. Because in fishing, there is not always an exact formula for success. Each trip to sea is a gamble with nature, sometimes winning big, sometimes returning empty-handed, but that has never cooled the enthusiasm of those who make a living by the sea. When the hundreds of meters long hook is pulled up from the seabed, the fishermen have to work continuously to remove each fish, while replacing the bait to continue dropping. Each flatfish pulled up is a small joy, but things do not always go smoothly. There are times when the fishing line gets tangled, gets caught on a reef, or there are fish that are so big that the line is so tight that it could break at any moment. At times like these, the fishermen have to coordinate with each other. Some people hold the line. Some people use support tools to make sure the fish is not lost. Flathead fish are not aggressive fish. But when hooked, they struggle strongly, especially the large ones, which can be more than a meter long and weigh tens of kilograms. This job is not for the faint-hearted, because many times the fishermen have to work in cold weather. The sea wind blows so strong that it can freeze the seawater on the deck. Even though their hands are wearing gloves, they are still numb from having to constantly hold the cold, wet fishing line. Not to mention the times when big waves suddenly come and make the whole ship shake violently. But gradually, they learn to adapt. Every action of pulling the line, removing the fish, and hooking the bait becomes a reflex, like a part of their lives. Once the catch is complete, they begin processing the fish on board to preserve its freshness. The flatheads are cleaned and neatly stacked in large ice boxes, ready to be brought ashore. Some of the larger fish are pre-processed. With their internal organs removed to ensure their quality is not affected during transport. The entire ship is filled with the smell of fresh fish, mixed with the smell of sea salt, engine oil, and the constant rumble of the ship's engine. After many days of continuous work, when the ship's hold was full, the captain ordered a return to shore. The journey back to land was always the most relaxing time, when the fishermen could rest a bit. Share stories about the fishing trip, and laugh about unforgettable moments at sea. Some took a nap, others sat and fixed their equipment to prepare for the next trip. But no matter how tired they were, when the ship docked and the fish were unloaded for consumption, they felt complete joy when they saw the fruits of their hard work. The practice of catching flathead with long lines by hand may not be as popular as other modern methods, but it still exists as an indispensable part of the American fishing tradition. Those who pursue this profession not only do so for the profit but also for their passion for the ocean, the waves, and the thrill of pulling up a big fish. For them, each voyage is a challenging but also hopeful journey, because the ocean is always generous to those who persevere and make constant efforts. As the ship approaches shore, the fishermen on board feel relieved after a long day at sea. They see land on the horizon, snow-capped mountains, and busy docks with trucks waiting to transport fish to processing plants. But even when they are close to land, the work is not over. The fishermen must quickly unload the fish. Check the quality of each one, and sort them by size and weight before putting them in cold storage or taking them straight to auction markets. Large flatfish with thick, beautiful meat often fetch higher prices and are sought after by high-end restaurants. Meanwhile, smaller ones can be sold wholesale to fish markets or processing plants. Each crate of fish pulled off the ship is the result of hard work. The beads of sweat on the fishermen's foreheads and the calluses on their hands are proof of their perseverance and love for the job. When the fish are sold, the wages are divided equally among the crew members. Those who have worked for a long time and have a lot of experience often receive a higher share, while those who are new to the job may receive less but still have enough to cover their living expenses and support their families. After unloading the fish, the boat is cleaned and prepared for the next trip. This is when the fishermen can rest a bit, return to their families, and see their wives. Children, and friends after many days away. But for them, the joy only lasts for a moment, because after only a few days, they start preparing for a new trip. Fishing does not have much time to rest, because the fishing season does not last forever, and if they do not catch fish when there are many, they may lose their chance to make a living. American longline fishermen are not simply workers who make a living at sea. They are brave, persistent people, willing to face danger to bring the freshest fish to the market. They understand that each fish they catch not only has economic value, but also represents a part of their lives. A profession that has supported many generations of fishermen. Many people can not help but wonder why they choose such a hard job, when they can find other jobs with less risk. The answer is simple. The sea is in their blood. The feeling of drifting on the waves, the thrill of pulling up a big fish, the joy of seeing the boat full of fish, all of these things make it impossible for them to give up this job. For them, each trip to sea is not only to earn a living, but also a journey of discovery, an adventure full of challenges and opportunities. Although the flatfish fishing industry continues to develop, it is also facing many challenges. Competition from industrial fishing methods, climate change, increasingly stringent fishing quotas, all of these factors affect the lives of fishermen. Yet they continue to stick to the sea, because they know that if they work properly, if they respect nature and fish sustainably, the sea will always give them what they need. As night falls on the harbor, the ships quietly leave, carrying the brave men back to the sea. They begin a new journey, with new hopes, with the determination to keep reaching out on the waves. The sea is still vast and mysterious, but for these fishermen, it is no longer a stranger. It is home, where they belong, where they will stay for life, no matter how many storms continue to beat on the shore. After long days at sea, when fishing boats dock and flatfish are brought into processing plants, a completely different picture emerges in the vast countryside of America. There, large-scale pig farms operate tirelessly, providing an abundant source of meat to produce hundreds of tons of sausages every day. Under the sun, cornfields stretch out, providing an abundant source of food for the pigs. The sound of machinery rumbles in modern farms, where thousands of pigs are raised in a closed process. From piglets to adults, ready for processing. Inside the factories, production lines operate at a dizzying speed. Pork is ground, mixed with special spices, then stuffed into casings and smoked, cooked to create delicious sausages. The entire factory is filled with the light smoky smell and the distinctive flavor of processed meat, awakening all the senses, from the pigs on the farm to the carefully packaged sausages. Everything goes through a closed journey, ensuring strict hygiene and food safety standards. Refrigerated trucks continuously leave the factory, delivering sausages to supermarkets, restaurants and fast food chains across the United States. And just like that, pig farmers and food processing workers continue to work day and night. Like fishermen far out at sea. Whether at sea or on land, they contribute to the giant food supply chain, providing nutrition to millions of people every day. You said. Continued. ChatGPT said. Refrigerated trucks leave the processing plant, carrying hundreds of tons of sausages. Weaving through the vast highways of America, they travel through lush countryside, through bustling cities, towards supermarkets, restaurants and fast food chains across the country. Inside supermarkets, shelves are filled with famous sausage brands. From fresh breakfast sausages, rich smoked sausages, to spicy sausages with regional flavors. Each package of sausages is carefully packaged, stored at the right temperature. To preserve the flavor. American families often buy them to prepare many different dishes, from traditional grilled sausages on charcoal grills to famous hot dogs on the street. Not only present in supermarkets, hundreds of tons of sausages are also distributed to fast food chains. Hot dogs are served to millions of people every day, from students to busy office workers. In stadiums where football and baseball games take place, thousands of hot dogs are sold in just a few hours, becoming an indispensable part of American culinary culture. Back on the pig farms, when one batch of pigs is sold to serve the processing industry, new batches are raised. Everything happens in a never-ending cycle, ensuring a stable supply for both domestic and export markets. The United States is not only one of the largest consumers of hot dogs, in the world, but also a major supplier to many other countries. Containers filled with frozen hot dogs leave ports and board ships to be transported to European and Asian countries, where they continue to contribute to the cuisines of many different cultures. Whether on land or at sea, whether they are fishermen fishing offshore or pig farmers and workers in processing plants. They are all important links in America's giant food supply chain. Their work is not simply a labor for a living, but also a dedication to bringing food to millions of people every day, contributing to the development of the agricultural economy and the food processing industry. And so the fishing boats leave the dock. The livestock farms continue to operate. The processing plants still light up. The giant rotation of America's food industry continues, relentlessly, day after day, year after year. In the vast lands of the United States, The pig farming industry is constantly developing to supply raw materials for the giant food processing industry. Modern farms apply advanced technology to raise millions of pigs, ensuring the best quality meat for the production of sausages and many other processed meat products. From the moment piglets are born, they are carefully cared for with a special diet to ensure optimal growth rate. These pigs grow in a strictly controlled environment, with a nutritious food source, helping to achieve the highest quality meat. After reaching the ideal weight, they are transported to slaughter facilities according to safe and humane procedures. At the processing plant, the pigs are cleaned and divided into different parts. The high-quality meat will be ground, mixed with spices and special ingredients to create sausages with a typical American flavor. The modern production line helps the processing take place quickly, ensuring that hundreds of tons of sausages are created every day. After being stuffed into casings, sausages will be processed by many different methods such as steaming, smoking or drying to create different types of products. The quality control process is strict to ensure that each batch of products meets food safety standards before being packaged and distributed. After leaving the factory, tons of sausages are transported to large distribution centers, from where they continue to be delivered to retail stores, supermarkets, restaurants and fast food chains across the United States. Every day, millions of consumers enjoy sausages in many different ways, from quick breakfast dishes to outdoor barbecues. In addition to serving the domestic market, the United States is also one of the world's leading sausage exporters. Packages full of frozen sausages are loaded onto ships to be shipped to Europe, Asia, and many other markets. In these countries, American sausages have become part of local cuisines, appearing in many street foods and traditional dishes. In addition to its economic value, the sausage industry also creates millions of jobs for workers, from pig farmers, factory workers, delivery drivers to supermarket staff and chefs. The strong development of this industry not only contributes to the national GDP but also helps maintain the stability of the food economy. Whether in vast fields or in modern processing plants, whether on delivery trucks or in fast food restaurants, this whole system always operates non-stop to ensure an abundant food source, serving the daily lives of millions of people. This is the power of the American food industry, a giant wheel that never stops.